Welcome to Chasing News. I'm Bill Spadio. We've got a big show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the update to Hurricane Harvey, the impact on Texas, and of course our region's response and how folks in our area are helping out. That plus antiquated laws. How about laws about sleigh bells and pies? You're not going to believe some of what you hear tonight. And we've got a story on fallout shelters. Yep, a lot of buildings in our region still have them. But I want to start with a story that had me all worked up over the last couple days. It's about an assemblyman in New Jersey. His name is Parker Space. He and his wife Jill went to a Hank Williams Jr. concert over the weekend, and they posted a picture to Facebook in front of what is known as the Hank Williams Jr. rebel flag. Well, it caused all kinds of flap on social media and even got the attention of the Democratic candidate for governor in New Jersey, former Ambassador Phil Murphy, who thinks that the assemblyman ought to apologize because it looks like a rebel flag. So we're joined now by Assemblyman Parker Space, and I want to get to the bottom of this. Parker, welcome to Chasing News. How are you?
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me.
So, Parker, you and I talked about this on the radio earlier today. You've been going to Hank Williams Jr. concerts for a while. There were 20,000 other people there. What is your take on this? I mean, people have made these outrageous accusations about whether or not you are a pro-Confederate racist.
Well, it's like anything else. Like we talked this morning, we're big fans of, Hank Jr., Leonard Skinner, Kid Rock, a lot of Southern rock groups. And so we went out for a night out to have a good time. And so we got our picture by, a flag or a banner with Hank Williams Jr. on it. And, with, no intentions of, upsetting anybody. But it's like, everybody is so offended by everything anymore.
Let me ask you, have you heard up to this point, have you heard from Phil Murphy? I called him out on the radio this morning, asked him to weigh in, and why did he make a big issue of this? Literally to the point where he called on his opponent, Kim Guadagno, to urge you to apologize. And she, of course, declined to do that, letting common sense take over. But have you heard from anybody else?
Nope, nobody else. And like you said, the invitation is there for Murphy. He's more than welcome to come up and sit down and have a cup of coffee about me. Because I always think it's wrong when you're trying, you never met the guy, he's never met me, and he's trying to make accusations against me. So it's like, come on, let's sit down and talk man to man.
Real quick, is the post still up?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you said it was a picture of Hank Williams Jr.
All right. Hey, listen, Parker, thank you. Appreciate you joining me. All right, I want to introduce our A-list panel here. Alex Law, you are a progressive activist or a progressive organizer and a former congressional candidate. Welcome, despite your name, not a lawyer.
Right, correct.
Okay. And speaking of lawyers, we've got Elora Nanos. Thank you for joining us again, Elora. It's always good to see you. And Frank Luna, you are the chief of staff in the district for Congressman Tom MacArthur. Let me start with you, Frank, because you know Parker personally. What is this controversy to you? Is this just the guys at the top just taking the low-hanging fruit and making a big deal out of nothing? Or is there something to it?
And Bill, you touched on it. I know Parker, and I've known him a long time, and he's a man with good character, real integrity, and this to me is just the skinny jeans epidemic going on in this country. Everybody is offended by everything. It was not a Confederate flag, it was a Hank Williams flag. And more people, the elites in media and politics, need to go hang out at places like that to understand what people in the real world are really worried about. Because it's not all this ridiculous.
Alex, what do you think? I mean, is there a reason for people to be offended, or is this a nonsense issue?
Well, we just had Charlottesville happen. In the United States, we just had a major issue with a conversation around race. And for him as a public figure to post that and not realize or think that this might be inappropriate, I think misses the mark.
Hey, Laura, do you agree? Do you have to put a disclaimer on every single thing you say today to make sure you're not offending someone?
I don't think you need to put a disclaimer. I think you need to be strategic about what you as a public figure decide to post. And basically what it's doing is it's taking a gamble that by belittling people with legitimate concerns over what that flag represents, that you're going to rile up some people to be in your corner.
In fairness, it's not a Confederate flag. I mean, in fairness, it is a mock-up of the battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia with Hank Williams' face plastered. So do you condemn all 20,000 people that went to that event? No, are they all as irresponsible?
I condemn anyone who is an elected official who is making posts like this to be politically expedient at the expense of sensitivity.
So let's leave that there. Let's just pivot very quickly. Columbus statue in Yonkers, wrecked. They smashed the head of it in a park. What do you think? Has it gone a little too far?
I think when we look at public figures, when we look at what's happening in this country, and I think about 1968, Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King had just been assassinated, and he said something to the effect of what we need in the United States is not division or hatred or violence or lawlessness, but love and wisdom and compassion, a sense of justice towards those less fortunate in our country.
Frank, are we just
need
erasing history?
It's just silly. All of it is silly. And, you know, there's a clear double standard because nobody's talking about Antifa. Not one media story is being written calling on Sheila Oliver to condemn what they're doing in Berkeley. 4,000 people rioting in the streets. And yet it's just Parker Space because he's got in front of a flag with Hank Williams Jr. on it.
Laura, is that a valid point? I mean, we've had black members of the assembly on this set. You know, we talked to Jamel Holly. We've talked to the folks that are in charge of the African American Chamber of Commerce, and both actually echoed the same sentiment, saying we got to focus on real issues.
Oh, I agree that there are issues far more important than posts and flags and statues, but that doesn't mean that it's unimportant, and it doesn't give people license to make the wrong choices.